There comes a time in every life when the soul grows weary, when the walls seem to close in, and when hope is hanging by a thread. In those moments, when it feels like the night will never end and the storm will never pass, we wonder if God is still near. But I tell you this, before a major breakthrough, before the floodgates of blessings open, God sends signs. Not ordinary signs, but divine whispers that shake the very foundations of our hearts. These are not coincidences. They are the spiritual footprints of God, moving in your life, preparing you for a miracle that your mind cannot even comprehend. God does not move without purpose. He does not speak without intention. When your life seems to fall apart, when confusion surrounds you, and when every door slams in your face, know this: God is not punishing you, He is positioning you. Before a breakthrough, God often allows a breaking. He allows the uncomfortable, the unfamiliar, the unsettling. Why? Because He is stripping away what cannot go with you into the next season. The delay is not denial, it is divine alignment. When you are stretched, shaken, and feel like all is silent, that is often the moment God is nearest. The silence is not abandonment, it is preparation. Before God releases abundance, He often tests your faith in scarcity. He watches to see if you trust Him when you have nothing, so He can bless you with more than you imagined. Many complain when the pressure increases, but the pressure is proof that God is working beneath the surface. Just like a seed must be buried in darkness before it can break the soil and rise toward the sun, your spirit must endure pressure before it can rise into purpose. When the pressure intensifies, it's not the end, it's the beginning of something greater. God is not finished with you, He's just getting started. And one of the first signs that God is about to bring breakthrough is isolation. He separates you from certain people. He removes the distractions. He quiets the noise around you. You may feel lonely, but you're not alone. God is calling you to Himself. He is preparing you in private before revealing you in public. Some people were never meant to go with you into your destiny. So don't cry when they walk away. Don't beg them to stay. God removes who He must to protect the promise He placed within you. Let them go. God has already seen what's coming, and He knows they cannot handle what He's about to do in your life. Another sign that God is near a breakthrough is spiritual agitation. You begin to feel restless. Things that used to satisfy you no longer do. You begin to crave more meaning, more depth, more purpose. That's not anxiety, that's not dissatisfaction, that is the Spirit of God stirring your soul. You are being awakened from spiritual slumber. God is pulling you into a new season, and He is making you uncomfortable in the old one. Pay attention to the unease. That discomfort is divine. It is the signal that God is shifting the atmosphere around you, tearing down old mindsets, and building new strength within you. Sometimes, before a breakthrough, all hell breaks loose in your life. The attacks increase, the stress mounts, the people you thought you could trust turn against you. It feels like the enemy is winning. But hear me, the enemy only fights what he fears. If your life is under attack, it's because your breakthrough is close. The closer you are to what God has for you, the louder the opposition becomes. Do not be afraid. Do not shrink back. Do not let fear paralyze you. God has not brought you this far to abandon you now. Stand firm. This storm is not meant to destroy you. It is meant to reveal the warrior inside of you. There is a spiritual pattern to every breakthrough. And often it comes right after a season of complete exhaustion, when you are tired, when you are worn down, when you have nothing left to give. That's when God steps in with His power. Your strength ends where His begins. Sometimes God waits for your hands to let go so His hands can take over. You were never meant to carry the burden alone. You were never meant to fight every battle in your own might. Let God take over. Surrender is not weakness. It is wisdom. God does His greatest work through surrendered hearts. And listen carefully, before a major shift, God will start sending confirmations. You'll hear the same message in different places. You'll get that call out of nowhere. You'll see signs, phrases, or dreams that align with your spirit. That's not imagination, that's revelation. That's how God speaks when your mind is finally quiet enough to listen. Don't dismiss those divine nudges. They are not random. They are God's way of saying, keep going, you're almost there. When God starts repeating himself, take notice. He is about to do something sudden, something swift, and something supernatural. Another sign God is preparing you for breakthrough is delay. You prayed, you waited, you did all you could, yet nothing changed. But what feels like delay is often divine protection. If God gave you what you asked for too early, it would crush you. Sometimes God withholds what you want to preserve who you are. He matures you in the waiting. He builds your character. He stretches your patience. And when you are finally ready, He releases the blessing. And it won't be something small. It will be exceedingly abundantly above all you could ask or think. But the weight is the weight of glory settling over your life. Carry it with faith. Do not ignore the stirring in your soul when God starts exposing truth around you. People you trusted may reveal their true colors. Opportunities may collapse. What looked perfect might fall apart. But what breaks down was never built on God's foundation. When He brings the truth to light, it is because He is clearing the path for what's real, what's right, and what's rooted in His will. Let truth sting if it must, because it will set you free. Before breakthrough, God always brings exposure. Not to hurt you, but to heal you. To show you what you couldn't see before. Trust Him in the revealing. And oh, how often before breakthrough your faith will be tested, not in comfort, but in chaos. Will you still believe when nothing makes sense? Will you still praise when the pain is heavy? Will you still obey when you don't understand? That's when real faith is born, not in the light, but in the dark. That's where trust is forged. In the fire, not on the mountaintop. If you're in the fire right now, don't panic. God is with you in the flames. He will not let you be consumed. You are not being punished, you are being purified. The enemy wants you to believe that because it's hard, God is distant. But that is a lie. Hard seasons are often holy seasons. Painful moments are often prophetic. When everything seems against you, that's often when God is the closest. The fight you're facing is not a sign of His absence, it's a sign of your anointing. You are being prepared, and what you're carrying is heavy because it's holy. Do not despise the struggle. It's shaping you, it's stretching you. It's making room for the breakthrough that is coming. Sometimes the sign God is about to move is not in what changes, but in what stays the same. That quiet peace in your soul that doesn't make sense, that unshakable resolve to keep walking even when your legs tremble, that strength you find to smile through tears, that is not your strength. That is God inside you whispering, I'm not done yet. And if God is not done, neither are you. You may be at the edge of the Red Sea with Pharaoh behind and water in front, but God is about to part the waters. He is the God of sudden miracles. He is the God of last-minute victories. He is never late. He is always right on time. Do not miss the sign of uncommon favor. When doors open that should have stayed shut, when resources show up out of nowhere, when strangers bless you and opportunities appear without your effort, that is God's fingerprint on your situation. He is making a way where there was no way. Do not doubt the favor of God just because it looks unfamiliar. The unfamiliar is often the unfamiliar hand of God, leading you to places you could not reach on your own. Trust Him even when it's new. Trust Him when it's different, because where He is leading you, no man can block it, no enemy can stop it, and no weapon can prosper against it. Even your tears are a sign. Every tear you've cried, every silent scream, every prayer uttered through trembling lips. God has collected every one. He has not ignored your cries. He has not turned away. Those tears have watered the seeds of your breakthrough. Do not think they were wasted. They were offerings. They were sacrifices of faith. And in due time you shall reap if you faint not. God is not unjust to forget your labor, your faithfulness, your long night. The reward is coming. The shift is coming. The release is near. And just when you feel weakest, just when you think you cannot endure another moment, that's when it happens. The breakthrough. The moment everything shifts. the moment the burden lifts, the moment God opens the floodgates and blessings pour that you don't have room to contain. But you had to pass through the fire. You had to walk through the storm. You had to endure the silence, because only then could you carry the weight of the glory that is about to fall on your life. And when the breakthrough comes, it will come in a way that leaves no doubt it was God and God alone. Not luck, not coincidence, not connections, but divine intervention that overturned every obstacle, silenced every critic, and elevated you beyond what anyone thought possible, because God does not just bless in moderation, He blesses in overflow. He does not just answer prayers, He exceeds them. He does not simply open doors, He shatters gates of bronze and breaks through bars of iron. That's the kind of God you serve. A God who waits until the odds are against you, so that when victory arrives, only He can receive the glory. But there's something deeper you must understand. Before a breakthrough, God will test your obedience. Not in grand gestures, but in the small, quiet decisions. Will you still pray when you feel unheard? Will you still give when you feel empty? Will you still be kind when others are cruel? That is the furnace where trust is refined. God watches what you do in private before He rewards you in public. He watches how you steward the little before He grants you much. And those who are faithful in little are entrusted with much, not because they are perfect, but because they trusted Him in the shadows. And let me tell you, God often allows chaos right before clarity. Confusion might rise, plans might fall through, and the familiar might vanish, but all of it is part of divine construction. Sometimes God allows everything around you to collapse so He can rebuild your life His way, not yours. You prayed for elevation, but elevation requires excavation. He has to remove the wrong foundations, the pride, the fear, the dependence on others, so that when He builds you up, no storm can tear you down. God does not deal in temporary fixes. He is after total transformation. Another powerful sign that a breakthrough is near is when you start losing interest in things that once entertained you. What once excited you now feels empty. What once pleased your flesh now grieves your spirit. That is not depression. That is spiritual awakening. That is God detaching you from what is beneath your calling. He is making room for what's holy. He is replacing surface-level pleasures with deep wells of purpose. He is changing your appetite, because your destiny requires a stronger diet. You can't feast on the empty and expect to walk in power. So when your desires shift, don't resist it. That's God cultivating your hunger for higher things. And sometimes, right before the breakthrough, you'll face a test of your identity. The enemy will whisper lies, telling you that you're not good enough, not strong enough, not chosen. But those are not your thoughts. Those are fiery arrows aimed at your destiny. When you feel like quitting the most, that's when God is closest. That's when He's testing if you'll believe what He said over what you feel. Remember, your feelings are temporary, but God's word over your life is eternal. If He said He would deliver, He will. If He said He would provide, He will. If He said He would restore, He will. Let every man be a liar, but let God remain true. And I must warn you, before your breakthrough, your patience will be tested to its very limits. The weight will feel unbearable. You'll look around and see others receiving their blessings while you feel stuck. But listen closely. Comparison is the thief of gratitude. What God has for you cannot be rushed, and it cannot be stolen. What's coming is tailor-made for you. It's not delayed, it's in process. You are not forgotten. You are being formed. Trust God's timing. He is never early and never late. And while you wait, worship. Worship even if you don't feel like it. Because worship is warfare. Worship confuses the enemy. Worship invites the power of God to your situation. God will often send a sudden increase in resistance before your major breakthrough. Everything becomes harder. Your energy feels drained. Your dreams feel distant. The pressure feels unbearable. But pressure is a prophecy. It's the signal that you are about to birth something great. A mother experiences the most pain, not in the early stages of pregnancy, but right before the baby is born. That final push is the hardest, but it's also the most necessary. You are closer than you think. Don't give up. Push through. God is about to bring forth what you've carried in secret for so long. And hear this truth: God will never give you a blessing that you are not ready to protect. That's why the preparation season feels lonely. That's why it feels like no one understands. Because God is not only preparing the blessing for you, He is preparing you for the blessing. If He gave it to you too soon, it would slip through your fingers. But now, after all the pressing, all the pruning, all the humbling, you are ready. You've been trained in silence, forged in the fire, molded by hardship. And when the breakthrough arrives, you will not only receive it, you will know how to guard it, preserve it, and multiply it. And don't be surprised when God begins to give you dreams and visions that don't make sense to anyone else. He's giving you glimpses of where you're going, not where you are. Hold on to those dreams, even if others laugh, even if others doubt. God didn't show it to them, He showed it to you. Your vision is not a delusion. It's a divine instruction. Speak it over your life, declare it in prayer, walk in it even when there's no evidence, because the evidence comes after the obedience. God does not give dreams to tease you. He gives them to prepare you. Stay faithful to what He showed you. And there's something you need to know about breakthrough. It often begins with a breakdown. God will allow what's false to fall apart. He will let the imitation collapse because He wants to replace it with what is authentic. Don't mourn what God removes. What you lost was never going to take you where you're going. God doesn't subtract unless He plans to multiply. And when He rebuilds, it will be better, stronger, more rooted, and more blessed. Let the breaking come, let the shaking come. It's not the end, it's the beginning of your rise. And then there's the quiet moment, the stillness before the shift, when everything seems paused, no movement, no answer, no sign. And yet that is when God is working most intensely. Just like seeds are planted in silence and babies grow in the womb unseen, the work of God in your spirit is often hidden before it's revealed. Don't mistrip quietness as abandonment. Don't mistake stillness for absence. God is doing what only He can do in the background, behind the scenes, beyond your understanding. And when it manifests, it will be sudden, it will be overwhelming, and it will be undeniably from God. So if you feel like you're hanging by a thread, hold on. If you feel forgotten, press forward. If the burden feels unbearable, cry out, but don't quit. You are standing on the edge of breakthrough. The signs are there, the stirring is there, the shift is near, and when it comes, it will make sense why it took so long, why it was so hard, and why it had to happen this way. Because God is not just giving you what you prayed for, He's giving you more than you imagined. And do not overlook this: before the breakthrough, God will often isolate you. He will pull you away from the crowds, from distractions, from unnecessary noise. He will remove people who no longer serve your purpose, even those you thought would be with you forever. It is not punishment, it is positioning. God cannot elevate you while you're still clinging to what's beneath your calling. He will take you to the wilderness where it's just you and Him, so your ears can finally hear His voice clearly, so your heart can finally beat in rhythm with His will. You may feel lonely, but you're never alone. God does His deepest work in solitude. And when that silence surrounds you, do not fear it. That is when you are being drawn into deeper intimacy with God. He is quieting the world so your soul can listen. He is silencing distractions so your spirit can awaken. Many people run from that silence, but those who embrace it will find hidden strength. They will find clarity the world cannot offer, peace that logic cannot explain, and direction that only comes from the Creator of all things. When God begins to still everything around you, it's not to abandon you, it's to reveal what only stillness can reveal. Another undeniable sign that God is preparing a breakthrough is when your heart becomes restless with your current environment. You start feeling like you no longer belong in the places you once settled. You outgrow the conversations, the habits, the comforts. This restlessness is sacred. It is divine discomfort. God is stirring your spirit because He is getting ready to transition you. He is closing chapters so He can write new ones. That inner agitation is the evidence that your current space is too small for the next version of who God is calling you to be. Don't try to fit where you no longer belong. Let God uproot you and plant you in fertile soil. And yes, with every great shift, there comes opposition. When you are on the brink of breakthrough, you will encounter increased spiritual resistance. Things will come against you with greater intensity. But do not be alarmed. This is not a sign of failure. It's a sign of advancement. The enemy does not attack what isn't a threat. If you're under attack, it means your destiny is causing tremors in the spirit. And the same God who protected you before will defend you again. God does not call you to fight in your own strength. He clothes you in spiritual armor. He surrounds you with divine power, and He goes before you as a consuming fire. Victory is not a possibility. It is a guarantee when God is with you. And when the breakthrough is close, you will begin to see things differently. What once made you anxious no longer shakes you. What once intimidated you no longer controls you. That shift in perspective is divine. God is enlarging your vision. He's giving you eyes to see beyond your current struggle and into the realm of purpose. He's helping you understand that the trial wasn't meant to destroy you. It was meant to train you. And now, with new eyes, you begin to thank God for what you once cried about. You begin to praise Him for the things you didn't understand at the time, because hindsight becomes holy when viewed through faith. And sometimes, right before the breakthrough, God will allow you to confront your deepest fears. He will bring you face to face with what you've been avoiding. Not to shame you, but to set you free. You cannot walk into new territory while being chained by old fears. God will not allow you to take bondage into a place of blessing, so He will bring it to the surface. He will make you deal with it, because He's not just interested in changing your life, He wants to transform your heart. He wants to make you fearless. Not reckless, but unshakable, grounded, rooted in the confidence that when God is for you, nothing can truly be against you. And as you near the moment of breakthrough, you will experience a supernatural alignment. Things begin to fall into place in ways you could never orchestrate. People start entering your life with purpose. Doors begin to open effortlessly. What once felt blocked now becomes accessible. That's not chance, that's God, that's divine orchestration, that's His hand moving behind the scenes, lining up every detail, making all things work together for your good. You may not have seen the process, but you will witness the product. And when it all comes together, you will know it was not by your might, not by your power, but by the Spirit and will of God. And don't underestimate this sign. When gratitude rises unexplainably in your soul, even though your situation hasn't changed yet, know that your spirit is already walking in the blessing. Gratitude before the breakthrough is faith at its highest form. It's saying, God, I don't see it yet, but I trust you completely. That kind of faith moves mountains. That kind of heart attracts miracles. When you can thank God in the middle of the storm, it means you've already overcome it in the spirit, and the physical manifestation is only a matter of time. Gratitude is the bridge between the now and the not yet. It invites the supernatural into the natural. So praise Him, not because of what you have, but because of who He is. And finally, when your breakthrough arrives, you will feel the weight lift. You will breathe again, you will smile without force, you will walk with clarity, confidence, and calm. Because the same God who walked you through the fire will walk you into favor. And all those tears, they weren't wasted. All those prayers, they weren't ignored. All those nights of doubt, God heard every cry, collected every tear, strengthened every weak place, and now you will know Him not only as the one who comforts in trouble, but as the one who delivers with power. God doesn't just write stories, He writes testimonies. And your testimony is being written through every delay, every detour, every disappointment. Do not lose heart. The signs are clear, the process is sacred, and the promise is sure. Hold on to God with all that you have. Speak His truth over your life. Walk in His promises. Because what's ahead is greater than what's behind, and your breakthrough is not a maybe, it is a certainty. When your trust is fully in Him, the time is near. The signs are undeniable. The breakthrough is coming. God has already prepared it, and nothing can stop it. And I say to you now, when the breakthrough comes, it will not just change your surroundings, it will transform your soul. Because what God desires most is not simply to rearrange your situation, but to awaken your spirit. The breakthrough is not about the material, it is about the eternal. God is preparing something far deeper than relief. He is preparing revelation. He is opening your eyes to see what you were blind to before, clearing the fog of confusion with the light of divine understanding. And once you see with the eyes of the Spirit, you will never see the world the same way again. God will also show you that the pain had purpose. Every delay was divine. Every no was protection. Every closed door was His mercy in disguise. You see, we often cry over doors that God slammed shut because we did not yet see the destruction behind them. But God, in His perfect wisdom, saw the traps we could not, saw the betrayals we were blind to, and He shielded us. Yes, even through heartbreak, even through unanswered prayers. Because He is not only the giver of good things, He is the preserver of your destiny. And when your spirit begins to mature, you'll realize that the breakthrough isn't always loud, it isn't always grand. Sometimes it comes quietly, like the breaking of dawn, subtle but powerful. Sometimes it's not the storm that moves, but your ability to stand in it. Sometimes the chains don't fall off instantly, but your mind is freed first. That is still breakthrough. God doesn't always change the environment. Sometimes He changes you. And because you are different, everything around you must respond. And when your heart becomes fully aligned with the will of God, you'll understand that breakthrough is not something you chase, it's something you attract through obedience and unwavering trust. You may even begin to notice that people who once fit into your life begin to drift away. That's not always betrayal, it is refinement. God will strip away the voices that were blocking His voice. He will remove those who were sent to distract, to delay, to divide, and though it may hurt at first, you'll thank God later. Because not everyone can walk with you into the new season. Some people were only assigned to the former chapter. Let them go. Let the pruning come. Because when God prunes, it's only to make you bear more fruit. Another sign that a breakthrough is at hand is when God begins to stir an unexplainable boldness within you. Suddenly, what used to intimidate you no longer holds power. You begin to speak with authority, pray with fire, move with confidence, not because you are strong, but because you know who stands with you. That inner fire, that inner surge of strength is not from the world, it is from God. It is the evidence that He is empowering you to claim what is already yours. He is reminding you that you are not a victim. You are victorious through Him who created all things and holds all power. And in those moments of boldness, do not shrink back, do not doubt yourself, for if God has stirred your heart to move, He will clear the path ahead. Even if the way is not visible now, He will light it step by step. God does not show the entire map, He gives you a lamp for your feet. Because if you had the whole picture, you might try to walk it in your own strength. But when He gives you one piece at a time, it keeps you leaning on Him, depending on Him, walking by faith, not by what you see. And that is the safest place you can ever be, hand in hand with God, even if the road is unknown. And do not despise the moments when you are misunderstood, when your motives are questioned, when your name is gossiped about. For those moments often come right before divine elevation. God will test how you respond to rejection. Will you curse the ones who slander you, or will you bless them in secret? Will you fight back with your own strength, or will you let God vindicate you? Because before He blesses you publicly, He will watch how you carry yourself privately. And when you pass the test, when you keep your heart clean and your eyes fixed on Him, He will raise you up in a way that even your enemies will witness and be silenced. And sometimes, before the breakthrough, There will be a final moment of pressing, a moment where you feel completely emptied, poured out, nothing left to give. That moment is sacred because it is there in that last stretch that God fills you with what is eternal. The old is drained to make room for the new. And the ones who endure that moment, the ones who press on even when there is no strength left in their own flesh, will be filled with a power not of this world. It is in the crushing of the olive that oil flows. It is in the breaking of the vessel that the glory is revealed. Do not resist it. Embrace it. Because when God presses, it is to produce. The path to breakthrough is never a straight road. It curves through valleys, climbs over mountains, winds through darkness, and sometimes crawls through silence. But every step is guided. Every detour is designed. God wastes nothing. He is the master weaver, threading every pain, every delay, every disappointment into a tapestry that will one day make sense. And when you stand on the other side of it all, you will look back not with regret, but with reverence. You will say, had it not been for the pain, I would not have seen His power. Had it not been for the waiting, I would not have known His voice. So if you are in the season of pressing, if you are surrounded by signs that seem confusing, chaotic, or contrary, lift your head. Because God is not the author of confusion. He is the author of transformation. The confusion is not a sign that He has abandoned you. It is a sign that He is shifting you, moving things, breaking things, healing things. And when the dust settles, you will stand in a new place, a higher place, a place marked not by your striving, but by His sovereign hand. Keep praying even when the words come slow. Keep believing even when the evidence looks thin. Keep praising even when the room feels empty, because it is in those moments that faith grows roots. It is in those moments that God leans in close, not to test your strength, but to pour out His own. And when that breakthrough bursts forth, it will not just change your life, it will declare to the world that God was in every detail. And let it be known, when the time appointed by God arrives, no man, no system, no force in the heavens or on earth can prevent what He has ordained. What God declares shall come to pass. And when God says now, even the walls of impossibility tremble. Mountains that stood tall for years crumble in moments. Burdens that felt like boulders are lifted like fetters. What seemed delayed was never denied. It was being perfected. God's timing is not slow, it is sovereign. And those who wait upon Him, those who do not grow weary in the night, will soar when the morning breaks. Before a major breakthrough, God may bring you to a place where you must confront the truth about yourself, not for shame, but for elevation. For God cannot fill a vessel that is already full of pride, of ego, of self-sufficiency, so He empties you, not to abandon you, but to prepare you. The hollow places in your soul are not weaknesses, they are chambers waiting for God's wisdom, His peace, His direction. He brings you to humility because it is in humility that power is born. He breaks you open so that His light may shine through the cracks. The wound becomes the window where glory is revealed. And in this divine process, you may begin to feel misunderstood even by those closest to you. They may not see the fire God is igniting in your spirit. They may question your silence, your decisions, your detachment. But do not lower yourself to be understood by those who were never meant to walk in your shoes. God often bursts greatness in hidden places, in secret, away from the noise. He cultivates purpose in the shadows so that when He finally brings it to light, no one can claim they made it happen. Only God gets the glory. And yes, as the breakthrough approaches, something will change in the way you carry yourself. Not arrogance, but assurance. You'll walk not in fear, but in quiet confidence. Because there's a knowing, a sacred certainty that no matter what is happening around you, God is orchestrating something beyond comprehension. Your steps will be ordered. Your speech will be seasoned. Your mind will be at peace even in chaos. Because once you've trusted God through the dark, no amount of noise can shake what He's established within you. And oh, how often before the breakthrough comes a shaking. God will shake everything that is unstable. He will shake relationships that are not rooted in truth. He will shake foundations that were built on human plans, not to destroy you, but to fortify you. Because when He builds to last. When He blesses, it cannot be uprooted. So don't fear the shaking. It is a sign that God is removing the counterfeit to make room for the authentic. The temporary is being displaced so the eternal can take root. God is not just preparing a breakthrough for you, He is preparing you for the breakthrough. He is developing character that can carry the blessing. He is stretching your faith so it can hold the weight of what is coming. If He gave it to you too soon, it would crush you. But because He loves you, He waits until you are ready. Not just in your desire, but in your discipline. Not just in your prayer, but in your preparation. When God sees that your foundation is strong, then and only then will He release what He has stored up for you. And sometimes the breakthrough doesn't look like what you imagined. You prayed for a door to open and God gave you the strength to build your own. You asked for escape and God gave you endurance. You begged for peace and He gave you power in the storm. This too is breakthrough. For God's ways are higher than our ways, and His thoughts are not limited to our understanding. If He doesn't answer how you expected, it's because He's doing better than you expect. Trust Him not just when the answer is yes, but even when the answer is wait. And when your eyes begin to open, you will realize how much God has been protecting you. How many times He blocked things you never knew were threats. He preserved your mind while the enemy tried to corrupt it. He shielded your path when snares were laid before you. He assigned angels where your physical strength was not enough. He spoke through whispers in your spirit, leading you away from destruction, pulling you toward purpose. And every time you obeyed, even without understanding, you aligned yourself with a higher plan. That's the beauty of God's presence. It leads, it guards, it delivers. So if you are weary, take heart. If you are tired of waiting, take courage. God has not forgotten you. The very fact that you are still standing, still seeking, still praying is proof that God is not done. And when you least expect it, suddenly it will happen. Suddenly the door will open. Suddenly the burden will lift. Suddenly the resources will arrive. Suddenly the right voice will speak, not by your doing, but by the hand of God. And it will be undeniable. You won't need to convince anyone. The transformation will speak for itself. And let this sink deep into your soul. When God does it, it will be done so completely, so thoroughly that you will no longer remember the struggle with sorrow, but with sacred reverence. You will say, it was necessary. Every tear, every trial, every test, it was all part of God's design, and others will see you not just for who you are, but for what you endured. Your life will become a living testament that God does not forsake those who wait on Him, that He honors those who remain faithful, that He lifts up those who trust, even when they cannot trace Him. Keep watching, keep listening, keep believing, for the signs are all around you. The stretching, the silence, the sudden opposition, the separation, the restlessness, they are not signs of chaos. They are signs of construction. God is building. God is aligning. God is about to reveal what He has been working on in the secret place. And when it comes forth, it will be perfect, not because it is without flaw, but because it is in the exact form God intended for your purpose, your calling, and your future. So now, my beloved, I leave you with this truth that burns with divine fire. If you are standing on the edge of despair, if the weight of life feels unbearable, if silence surrounds you like a storm with no end, know this: you are closer than you've ever been, closer to the moment God reveals why it had to be this way, closer to the unfolding of what your pain has been preparing, closer to the divine breakthrough that will not only lift you, but awaken something eternal in you. What you're carrying is not ordinary, it is sacred. What you're fighting through is not punishment, it is preparation. What you're waiting on is not lost, it is being perfectly arranged by the one who holds time and eternity in His hand. Now is the moment to stand firm in your faith. Now is the hour to stop doubting, to stop shrinking, to stop rehearsing the past. Let go of the fear that has changed your decisions. Let go of the guilt that has silenced your prayers. Let go of the people who cannot go with you where God is leading. God has brought you too far for you to live in the shadows of your former self. You are not here to survive. You are here to fulfill a purpose written by the hand of God before you ever took your first breath. And that purpose is greater than your past, stronger than your pain, and more beautiful than anything you've imagined. Search your heart, cleanse it of anything that dims your connection to God, make space for Him, not just in your schedule, but in your soul. Let your thoughts be guarded by His wisdom. Let your steps be directed by His signs. Let your words carry the weight of truth. For in every moment of your day, God is speaking. In every challenge, He is shaping. In every delay, He is working. And if you dare to live fully surrendered, fully trusting, fully grounded in God's plan, you will walk not just in breakthrough, but in divine power. And I say to you with all the urgency of a soul that has tasted the goodness of God, wake up, rise up, shake the dust off your spirit. The time of hiding is over. The time of shrinking is done. You were not created to live in fear. You were not formed by the hands of the eternal just to blend in, give up, or fade away. You were called to walk in power, in clarity, in holy purpose. You are called to become a vessel of light in a world drowning in shadow. And that light is not from you, it is from God, burning through you like a fire that cannot be quenched. Lift your head, square your shoulders, speak the truth even if your voice trembles. Pray like heaven is listening, because it is. Move as if God is behind you, because He is. And when the next storm rises, do not ask, why me? Ask, what is God building through this? Because if He allowed it, He intends to use it. If He let it touch you, He plans to bless you through it. There is no battle wasted. There is no tear unseen. There is no waiting unnoticed. God is not silent. He is strategic. And when it all aligns, the very pain that tried to destroy you will bow before the purpose that now defines you. Go forward with boldness, not in your strength, but in God's. Speak with authority, not from ego, but from divine conviction. Love deeper, forgive quicker, walk humbly, keep your eyes on God. Let Him be your guide, your fortress, your everything. Do not look to man for validation. Do not seek applause from those who cannot see the vision. All that you are, all that you will become, rests in God's hand. And He never fails. He never falters. He never lies. He is not moved by circumstances. He moves circumstances. And He is about to do a new thing in your life. So live ready, live holy, live surrendered. Let your life be a testament that when you trust God fully, you lack nothing. And as you wait for the breakthrough, worship Him like it's already done, because in the realm of God, it is already done. The doors are already opening. The chains are already breaking. The way is already being made. Walk in that truth. Stand in that fire. And never ever forget, when God is the one who lifts you, no one can pull you down. Let your life now become a declaration that no matter what happens, you will remain faithful. That no matter what shakes, your trust in God will not waver. And that with every breath, every step, and every heartbeat, you will walk boldly in the direction of His voice. Because where God leads, victory follows, and where God dwells, nothing is impossible.